with the Blamegirl Pocast with
Mr. Terry Wayne.
And we got Hennessy Williams up in the house today.
Hey,
What's up, Hennessy?
What's up? What's up?
This is fun. I'm glad we're like all in the same space. And guys, we are doing this Hot Ones Hot Wing Challenge. That's what you see in front of us.
Oh, yes.
That's why Terry took me away from my computer. I can't. But anyway,
It's gonna be fun.
it is gonna be fun. It is gonna be fun. I'm gonna have fun because I've got a plate of the lowest hot wings for myself. And I get to watch these guys. They got ready, y'all. Look at this milk. We got some yogurts. I thought I saw some Tums up in the house.
You did.
Yeah.
You very much did.
Here we go.
I'm glad I said
Tums.
no. I'm glad I said no. Like that's too intense.
It's gonna be worse later tonight.
Are y'all gonna be able to do anything after this or?
I'm going to strip club.
Yeah. I'm gonna go clear out the champagne room. Yeah.
Go motorboat some strippers with that hot sauce on your lips.
Yeah, actually.
All right.
No, I'm just a big fan of the Hot Ones show. I've watched it a bunch. I love the idea of doing doing the show while you're under duress. You know what I mean? And I thought, who better than my fellow interests in the culinary arts, Hennessy Williams. Who else? Look, he's got his gloves.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Let me tell you something. I love watching both of these people post food. That's all I know.
Yeah.
He said food, I was here, but I can't do all the
And
stuff.
we're gonna do it just the same way that they do it on the show. We have 5 blames. We have 5 wings. They go from here to here, including toBlame Beyond Insanity. In case anybody's wondering that knows the show, it is a crazy, insane hot sauce. That's the one right there, buddy.
Yeah. So we're going this.
Yeah, and both of us are fearing trying this, which is why I love having him here to do it with
And
me.
it seems like Terry doesn't know our show. We have 4 blames, and then we're gonna interview Hennessy.
Well, we have 5 tonight, so
No,
go
we
ahead.
don't have 5.
All right.
Unless you have one that I didn't put on the.
Well, that's what we talked about yesterday.
Production meetings.
That's
live.
right, live in order.
All right, so Hennessy, how was your weekend?
Weekend. It was good. I did some comedy shows in Orlando, then I came down and did one in Fort Lauderdale, near Margaritaville. It was at Everest Lounge on Saturday. And then Sunday, I purposely vegged out. Didn't do too much.
You gotta do that sometime.
I had to do that mostly because I had had a lot of weekends being very busy running around. And then coincidentally, my girlfriend managed to injure her knee. So now we're both just gonna sit.
Okay.
So it
What
was
is your boyfriend?
It's nice when they
good
get
opportunity.
incapacitated like that.
Oh, when God takes it from them. Oh.
God's just telling you to slow down, ladies.
Terry, how was your weekend?
Pretty exciting. Went to a different planet on mushrooms on Friday, and then got to do a show with Mitch Fattel on Saturday, which I always love working with him. He's great. And then Sunday, I said I need to recuperate and clean the house, so I got to do that.
Yeah.
And kind of that's my version of vegging. Is just cranking up some Phil Collins on a Sunday.
And having it make more sense.
And just really just cleaning the house.
I can hear it called.
And just living out the white lame fantasy that I've always dreamed of.
Bachelor pad?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Hey, you can be white and lame and still get tons of pussy. You know, like that's legal.
Hey, shout out to Jerry Seinfeld.
What's up?
Just kidding. He's awesome.
All right, so how was my weekend, you ask?
Oh, nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. Nobody cares at all.
I performed at Villain on Friday. On Saturday, I vegged out and watched Harry Potter, and then
Is that all you did?
I can smell the bomb.
You just watched Harry Potter? That's it.
vegged out. and
Oh,
watched-
okay. Vegged out.
Mhm. I like vegetables such as broccoli, mushrooms, stuff like that.
Why can't you just be honest with the people like I am?
Wait, so you just ate a lot of vegetables for vegging out?
No.
You should start naming vegetables.
No, I did.
I vegged out.
She ate
so
some
I-
mushrooms and watched Harry Potter.
Okay.
That's what's
All
up.
right. I thought you. we're just downing some broccoli, and you're like, this is a cool
No,
veggie.
I'm a professional, so I just try to keep it, you know.
Well, why don't you try to relate to your audience?
Nah.
I did mushrooms, fine. I did them this weekend and watched Harry Potter, and then Sunday I didn't. I was supposed to work, but guess what I did? I went to brunch and I relaxed. So
That's some
I feel
shit.
you, yeah.
That's some shit a lady does on a Sunday.
All right,
Sometime.
we are watered, we are milked, we have our wings. Let's hit these blames.
Y'all gonna get a wing before we just start the blame, or
No, first we're
right.
going blame for wing.
All right, folks, we're in Florida and it is spring break week. And this week, 5 West Point cadets, they overdosed on cocaine and fentanyl. Who's to blame? Why did it have to be here, guys? We'll let them eat.
This is just
I'll
good.
get started.
This is just good. That's all this is.
I'm just wondering if it's
Good one, yeah.
Yeah, that's a hot one's classic. That's just good.
if it's because of the
And 3 of these are from their show, the classic, Los Calientes, and the Last Dab. All sauces that I own and do enjoy.
will any of these have anyone in the emergency room like these 5 West Point cadets? Like
No.
some fentanyl.
No, but look, it doesn't matter who they are. They're only getting attention because they're West Point students. You know how many people I know personally that have overdosed in the last 5 years? It's crazy. You know, they're just getting news
It's
because they're notable. That's it.
Mhm.
Nobody gives a shit
Yeah,
about.
West Point cadets aren't supposed to be doing cocaine, right?
They've always done cocaine. There's just not fentanyl
If there
around.
was a school I could think of where it would be frowned upon to be caught doing drugs, I
Yeah.
would think it would be West Point Academy.
Yeah,
Having said that, you can probably blame their parents, right?
Why do parents get the blame?
Because at some point the kid thought it would be a good idea to, when they leave home, do something their parents would not have advised. Because the upbringing
because they
is in
raised good
place.
kids.
Yeah, the
That's all
upbringing
it
is
is.
in place to get them to West Point. You have to have good roots to get there because you
Yeah.
know you got to care about your academics from an early age.
Let's just say what it is. It's home training. You have to have some kind of home training before you go out into the world.
okay.
So you think that West Point cadets didn't have home training?
I'm absolutely saying that. I'm saying that some of the raunchiest, ruckus motherfuckers I've ever known in my life have come from the wealthiest families, and the ones that would have the influence to put their kids into West Point.
I get what you're saying. My angle though is specifically the need to break away from your family's culture of rigidity.
Sure.
That's what to me is the thing, because it's not just rich kids, it's rich kids from military backgrounds, most likely. Because a lot of these kids aren't going to be first generation military kids. They're going to be fifth, sixth, seventh generation.
You think dad's like
100%.
drill sergeant?
So yeah, so the need to kind of establish your own personality
Yeah.
and not just be a reflection of your family for once kind of leads to people doing mushrooms and not mushrooms. Well,
Yeah,
yes,
so
mushrooms,
Mushrooms
but
is great.
fentanyl.
That's what I was
fentanyl.
gonna say.
It's step-
But
No,
they were just doing coke. They didn't know they were doing fentanyl.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say. You don't want to blame the illegal drug market for this because they are the ones that are putting fentanyl.
Sure.
in the-
I blame the legal drug market for this because they're the ones that push the lobbying and hold all this shit back. You know, if cocaine was legal and you could buy it in Walgreens, then we would know there's no fentanyl in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, but you can get addicted and you can overdose. Yeah, you can still do that when it's illegal. Did you know that? Like, it's just as easy. I've never tried cocaine in my life because I think I'll like it way too much. But you've been in comedy for a long time. In the 10 years I've been in comedy, you know how many times I've been offered coke? A ton.
Yeah.
It comes down to personal responsibility, which comes down to who raised you. That's what it is. It's who raised you, and it comes down to personal responsibility. I don't have a problem with cocaine. If somebody else wants to do it, it's not for me, so I just don't do it. That's it. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. How well did your parents raise you?
So are you blaming the individuals because they are doing cocaine?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So where does the pharmaceuticals company come into play?
Well, because they
Who raised them?
Right?
Who raised them?
Who raised them?
Evil people. That's who they raised them to put money over people. That's what it is.
I bet they cocaine is pure.
That's right.
They don't get
And
no
don't
stepped
think
on
that shit doesn't happen. There's no fentanyl. You know, I'll be amazed
don't
when I
blame-
find a story of like 10 Wall Street brokers who all die because fentanyl's in their coke. Because you know they're all on coke, right?
I mean, that could happen. I can
Yeah.
see it happening in like the
Well, it happened to
penthouse
that
of
actor.
the Mondrian.
It happened to that actor.
Oh, he probably had access to good coke, and he still got
Yeah.
bad coke.
Yeah. Well,
So
once it
Michael
reaches them,
Williams, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
yeah, once it reaches the upper echelon, the rich and the powerful, then we'll see something actually
I
done.
mean, it
by it.
has, but I don't know. So you don't want to blame the dealers for, like, as you say, stepping on it, and they are the ones that are actually the fentanyl that's killing people is a synthetic fentanyl that they're getting from China.
Which dealer? That's my question.
Well, this
Because there's
this
always
dealer
going to be a
was from West
chain.
Palm Beach, actually.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But where did he get it from? Was it already laced?
Are
when
they a
he got
dealer
it?
or just a retail?
Okay.
Exactly,
The
because
manufacturer. Or-
well, yeah, because they get the coke, they cut it all down, they add the fentanyl so it still has the same effect, and then they can sell it 4 times as much. You know, so but who stepped on it is the idea. Like
And
who
stepped on
cut
it
it
with
down?
But is it China? Like China's selling
China.
this
Can we
bullshit.
cut-
Okay, I'm sorry. Is China where we get our cocaine? Because I'm pretty sure that's
it's where
South
we get,
America.
it's where the drug dealers get their bad fentanyl. There's fake fentanyl. It's not
No,
even the
it's
real
drywall.
fentanyl. Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's fake fentanyl. The real fentanyl, literally just a few grams will kill you. Like
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's not even the real fentanyl. It's the bad fentanyl that is killing you.
you heard it here, folks. If you're gonna die of fentanyl, make sure it's the good shit. All right.
Like good Hodgkins.
Yeah. Make sure it's
All right, let's get to the next one.
all right.
This is the avocado one. This is the avocado hot sauce that I found online, and it's fantastic.
It's great for
You just made these
Tacos,
up. You
burgers,
got wait, so you picked the
eggs,
hot
and
sauce.
sandwiches.
3 of these are from the actual show.
I missed
This one is also on the show, and that one's just one of my favorites that I thought he'd enjoy. But I'm sorry that I wanted Hennessy to have a good time. As
Is
well.
it so? It's an avocado hot sauce. Tell us a
It
little
is.
bit about it.
Here, why don't you try it and tell them about it?
Is it? I don't know because I don't want to be like
Okay, well,
pooping fire tomorrow.
no, these 3 are pretty. They're pretty flavorful over heat.
Give me that avocado hot sauce.
Oh, now she's muscling.
Oh shit.
Now she's
I got
muscling
my
up.
Gatorade.
Peer pressure.
It's not peer pressure.
It's not.
It's the avocado.
We need to
baby.
add more peer pressure.
No, I'm not doing what y'all are doing.
Ah.
No, but it gives me an excuse to like eat some more chicken on air.
Okay.
And if you're wondering if we're gonna do the last dab, yeah.
Yeah, we will.
I mean, there's no sense in halfway pulling the
It
trigger
tastes
on
like
this.
salsa.
It's very good. It's very
Ready?
good. Yep. All right.
Why y'all eating that chicken like black folks?
Well, I am from the South.
Black folks in the Ukraine can't even get out, y'all.
I know that's how they
blame?
say it too over there.
What's that?
The black Ukraine. The Ukraine. I know that's how they say
The
it.
black folks. in
Yeah.
Ukraine.
Because that's a different kind of black folks.
No, the Guyanese ones.
Did
Yeah,
I
I know.
say it wrong?
The
No, I'm just saying
Nigerian
it's Northern African, and I know what you're gonna say. I read the article too. that
I'm
you sent.
asking y'all. I didn't say anything.
They are very persecuted over there because they came over in huge droves, and then even as progressive as Europe is, you can definitely still feel like the what would you call it?
backwards hick.
No,
Uh,
no, I wouldn't say that. You could definitely feel the classes in that way, but it didn't have anything to do with being black. It had to do with being Northern African black, because even the people that I would talk to that were black but were from their country of origin, like the country that they were living in, still the same animosity, same looking down. It had less to do with the fact of your skin color and more to do with the fact of where they came from.
so
Yeah, but-
northern, so like a Moroccan is looked down upon by someone from Liberia.
Well, no, like if Morocco is a perfect example because it
Okay.
used to be a French colony.
Yeah.
So a lot of Moroccans came to France, and yes, they are very much looked down on after that.
I assume it's because they're from Africa.
Yeah, but even by black French people still have the same animosity.
Oh, to me, that's just people trying to fit in and assimilate into the culture, which is racist.
Maybe it has to do with a lot of the street hustling that goes
It
on
happens
there.
here.
Yeah.
There was like a backlash of black immigrants from Black Americans when they came in, just because it's an adaptive behavior.
They only want to be
it's
able
not
to
a
bring
terrible
them
point.
in for labor. And
It's not a terrible point. But we got to have some kind of back and forth here.
Oh, yeah,
I can't
for sure.
just I
For
can't
sure.
just agree with you. No, it was very aggressive. A lot of the street hustling.
Fake purses and shit. All right.
No, not fake purses.
No?
Like actual.
Monty?
why are we talking about?
Like
street
actually
hustling?
invasive street
Are
hustling.
you blaming them?
Like, let's put it this way. Okay,
For their
I was
street
there one.
hustling?
I was there one year, right?
Mhm.
And when you came out of, I was in Paris, and you came out of Sacré-Cœur, which is a famous church there. When you came out, there was dozens of street hustlers walking around, and they would lay out, and it's illegal, right? So they would lay out all these small blankets, but they would tie up strings to each side, and then they'd lay out the cheap knockoff whatever's they're going to sell. And they'd lay them all out there. But as soon as the cops would turn the corner, it's kind of brilliant. They would just grab the 4 strings, yank them like that, and then the whole thing turns into like a bindle, like you see, and they just run off like that. That's fine. I'm totally okay with it. But you come up to my wife and start tying a charm bracelet around her arm without her consent, and then saying, now you owe me $5. I can see where the animosity comes from. You know what I mean?
So
It's too aggressive. It's way too aggressive.
you
I'm
feel
fine
like-
with you selling your wares.
So that's right up there with like perfume on you immediately. Like, would
But
you like to
then-
try our new thing?
Yeah, but if somebody sprays you and then like $10,
Okay.
like, you know what I mean?
But
Like, that's when
regardless,
it's fucked up.
So you're saying that because of this animosity due to the way they do business,
Sure.
that
Keep
this
that
is
in
why they're having a hard time getting out.
I
It's
think
not
that's a
because
general
of all
European
the
thought,
Nazis in the Ukraine.
No, the Nazi groups in the Ukraine are actually quite small, but they are there. I definitely agree with it. They've actually been in the news a lot lately because they're fighting Russia for Ukraine at the same time while being like the worst people on earth.
Yeah, that would happen here in America.
Mhm. And they actually come out and say it. And that's
So
Like, they believe in the pure Aryan race,
Yeah.
but Russia, get off my lawn.
yeah,
I got you.
100%, which
Well,
is
that's
crazy.
the thing about white supremacy. Some of the white people aren't even white enough.
It doesn't matter.
Or
That's
the
the
other white people.
any
So-
superior race theory,
nonetheless-
which that's what makes it stupid, is it always falls apart.
Are Nazis like in control? Because also it is that they are foreigners, and a lot of Europeans are like.
Xenophobic.
Well, no, they're just very
Thank you. I
national.
was looking for the
They're
word.
nationalists, is what it is. They're very
Nationalists are often xenophobic.
well. Yeah,
they
I'm not.
fear what's different.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they're
They're
more
like, "Let's
so.
get them out."
They're more so like we're the best, and then
But what's weird is they're keeping them in instead of being like, "We'll get out then," you know. But I guess it's because they can't flee to these other European countries. or
let's
whatever.
try and keep in mind that per capita, most first world European countries take in more refugees than we do. Most of them.
That's fine,
Yeah.
but we're.
I mean, I think it was a lot of specifically what's happening to Africans was they weren't being given passage to other places.
Was it
where
just
the seats were given
Africans?
to Africans, Indians, Pakistanis, and people,
Asians,
Asians, and that
But a lot
because they couldn't get
Black
on
Americans.
the mass transit system. They couldn't use it. They simply couldn't use the mass transit. It wasn't so much that they cared about whether or not they stayed in Ukraine. It's we got to get these people out. They have preferred treatment,
Yeah.
even though you got here at the same time as
Yeah.
they did, but they're to us Ukrainian. You are not. And there's a lot of countries like that.
Oh,
Where
you're
no matter
saying
what you
it
do-
was more nationalist. It sounds like than anything. These people are Ukrainian. You are not.
Yeah, and what do people tend to use as a baseline for understanding whether or not you are Ukrainian? Are you white? They don't take the time to go through your family history and no, they don't care if you're 2-3
They
generations.
know you're not Ukrainian. And
You're not-
white.
Yeah, you're not white. So at least in my eyes, I have plausible deniability to say no to you getting on this bus.
Wow. It's interesting. And you would think it would be more about getting people to safety than.
And they're making that argument. It's just they're treating it like it's a second-class citizen.
Yeah, it's so fucked up.
Well,
It's just prevalent throughout the world still. Like
let's not
throughout
forget.
the world, Black people are still treated as
That's how
second
bad
class.
slavery was. I was talking to my friend about that.
Well, let's not forget that if any one of those were male trying to escape, you're not allowed to leave. No male between
Yeah,
the
'cause
age
they're
of
expected to fight
18.
for their country.
Yes, between 18 and 60. They've already said it. Between 18 and 60, if you're male, you have to stay and fight.
Well,
Even the president of the country
That's-
stayed, even when they said we were gonna pull him out. And he's like, I don't need a ride, I need bullets.
No, that's totally acceptable.
It's totally badass, is what it is.
It's totally acceptable, but I do think it's.
I'd like to see Donald Trump do that if our country
No,
was under
not
attack.
just.
We'll
what-
get you out safely.
Not
No,
just
no.
what the president did.
he
but
claimed bone spurs.
You
again.
kind of
Yeah.
went. You
Bone
kind of.
spurs.
You kind of went towards like oh they're making males stay, like it's a sexist thing. Do you think women should have stayed too?
A bunch of women did stay. I've
Yeah,
seen
definitely.
numerous articles,
Should they have
including
Yeah, that's one of my
Ukrainian
questions.
ballet dancers.
Should they have had to stay?
I think that they should have had the opportunity if they wanted to, but I also
They
think
did.
it's important. I also think it's important for one parent to go with children. So it really depends on situation by situation. Let's not, even our drafts, even back in World War II, we didn't make orphans out of kids.
Yeah.
Even on our drafts.
I can't help but imagine a dude trying to convince his wife that it's best for him to take the children and for her to stay.
No,
and
honey,
protect the
you're a
house.
better shot than I am. Remember when you beat me and you wouldn't let me live it down?
It'd be a
It's your turn
situation
now.
where she's like, no, fuck that. You
Yeah.
take the kids, I'm gonna stay and fight.
Sure.
She don't want those kids.
Yeah.
She's like, take kids.
All right, this is where it starts to get hot before our next blame here.
Okay.
Now this is the Los Calientes. This is really good.
This is really
It's really good, or is it
Mhm.
really fiery?
No, it's not super spicy. It's just spicy enough. It's like one of those that just barely makes you perspirate.
Let me get. Oh no.
kind of a fruity
I don't
sort
know.
of pepper.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me taste that.
There's a lot of citrus in it. It's very good. It's the reason why that bottle's half empty. I put that shit on everything. And that's my third bottle so far.
I'm tasting
I put it
these
on
sauces.
pizza
I wouldn't
crust,
love to
eggs,
taste it.
burritos. This is the best burrito sauce I've ever had.
Really? No.
Oh.
It's hot though.
It is
No, it's
not-
got a little kick to it.
It's kind of okay. If it's like the one preceding the bomb, yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be kind of hot at least.
It's hot for these. I try not to go too crazy. These are real motherfuckers. So
I don't know.
Those are the hallucinations.
she doesn't want those while she talks to us about feminism and how we should let them leave with the kids. That's why you get to leave with the kids, because you won't eat the bomb. That's why.
What if they said no single adult between the age of 18
That sounds
and
fair.
60?
can leave?
60.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
60.
18 and 60.
You better stay in shape.
No single childless adult.
Oh, I don't have to stay in shape. I get the killer
What's up?
instincts.
I can't go nowhere.
Yep. That's how you make it equitable.
No,
I
just go trans, fellas, and you're all set.
Um,
I identify as a woman
Speaking
today.
of trans, that brings me to our next topic, guys. We're in Florida and we've passed the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida, which is limiting instruction about sexuality in school. Who's to blame? You guys think this is a good move, bad move?
Obviously, it's a bad move. It's yet another bad move from our puritanical society. And,
Well,
and these-
I just want to say it's limited to up to third grade. You can't discuss sexuality.
you shouldn't be discussing sexuality in third grade either.
You can.
But if somebody says, why does he have two mommies? And be like, because he has two mommies. That's it. Go ask your parents. That's what they should say. I mean, when do you think that sexuality should be taught to kids? At what age?
Whenever you start telling them stories about princesses falling asleep and princes kissing them to wake them up.
I don't disagree with that.
I think I disagree with that. Some things about childhood.
So can you just have two princes? One
Well,
fall asleep and one comes
Do
to
you
print?
remember
I
being
think-
a kid? Did you like? Because I remember being a kid. I remember being a very young kid, 5, 6, and being like, I like him. So you're already like having these like things going through your head.
Right, but
Why
you-
not talk about it if
But
it's a
you
part of
didn't-
reality?
But you didn't have any of the details. You don't need any of those details.
No one's
You
being
don't have
like,
to.
oh, he
Yeah.
sucks his
No,
dick.
but yeah,
No one's
nobody's
saying that.
No, I'm not saying that either. But when you're talking about sexuality in school, it's gonna obviously be very clinical. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be mommy loves daddy, and then they get together and Jesus makes them a family. You know what I mean? that's the shit that comes from home. And I think with kids that early, they honestly should just be learning at home. Their parents should teach them, but unfortunately, some parents suck.
So you kind of agree with the don't say gay bill?
No, I don't. I don't agree with the don't say gay bill. I believe
It
that.
sounds like you do.
No, I don't think it should be taught as a curriculum.
It's not like a curriculum, like they're like
It takes,
sexuality.
it's one of those,
101.
it's a solution in search of a problem. It takes something that already doesn't really happen
Right.
and then offers a solution to it. Like, aren't you tired of elephants crashing through your front door?
Exactly.
And everyone's like,
That's
well,
what
now
I'm
I
saying.
am. So
I remember being 6 years old and liking girls was the last thing on my mind. They were gross. You
That's
want-
6?
Huh?
Kindergarten?
Yeah. Liking girls was the
Alright.
last
Lying.
thing. I swear to God.
Well,
Like,
maybe you started earlier than that. Who knows?
I guess. I mean, girls definitely start earlier than boys with the whole crushing thing. But I mean, who didn't grow up with being like, ugh, girls are gross until you were like at least 8?
I mean, but you couldn't even explain to yourself why.
Yeah,
It's just
no,
something
it's
that was
just,
taught to you by other boys.
yeah,
Which is why
exactly.
it's important to get clinical information about how sexuality works from humans as early as. I'm a fan of making kids into geniuses.
But why
I don't
make,
like this, leave them dumb and ignorant in the
I kind of
corner.
already need tongues.
But-
Can I have one?
but why make, that's what I'm saying. Why bring up the issue that hasn't been brought up? I think that all this shit, for the most part, at least until middle school, should just be left to be taught at home. And then when you go to middle
Because
school,
mommy and daddy both have 2 jobs and they keep telling the school board that.
just say it. Just say what you mean to say. Parents are fucking terrible and they don't take enough time with their kids. That's all there is to it.
And I prefer an academic.
That's
slant.
every one of these. Every time I hear one of these, don't teach this in my school. Would you teach this in my school? All I hear is parents going, I'm not talking to this little faggot. So just you do it. All right. Do it the way I
We'll
want.
bleep the F word later.
Do what I want you to do about it. All right. Do it the way I want it done. And then you do it for me. That's all it is. All
Yeah.
these people would be like, oh, I'm not going to co-parent with the
And is
government.
that-
Good. Then you teach them.
Is that who you want to be taking your cues from
No.
for lesson plans? So why is it a good idea for this guy who is a sycophant for radical votes? That's all he cares about is radical
Mhm.
votes. He doesn't even
It's
give a fuck about
because
middle
it's
ground
their
votes.
job. You brought this kid into the world. I can't bring home a puppy and then go to my neighbor's house and be like, walk this piece of shit. It doesn't work like that. You brought that kid in the world. It's your job to
It
make
does
No,
work
no,
like
no,
it can
no.
work like that when it's illegal to not have the kid in school.
What do you mean?
That
Kids
kid has
all have to go to
school.
school.
You can
So they should
homeschool.
be learned. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you
And that
need
should
to do
always be a
that.
part
If
of the
you don't-
community.
If you're gonna
Do
be
it
a
when
part
you can
of the
afford it.
community, then you're gonna be a fucking part of the
That's
community.
right.
You're gonna learn about everybody's sexuality.
That's right.
If you don't want them to, send them to fucking private school. Send
Or
them, keep them at home.
Homeschool. All 3 of my cousins were homeschooled for their entire lives.
I
And
not
only
one of
one
them-
of them
not-
wants a problem with their other cousins.
Not one of
so-
them has killed anybody yet. So,
I
and I
just-
say yet, but
I don't
jury's
have
out.
a problem with, because it's not like they're teaching kids, oh, boys give the boys head if they're gay. You know,
Right.
it's not like that. It's like these 2 daddies.
It's
So
more
they're-
like
they're-
some boys like boys.
Just
Yeah.
let, because there's probably some kids in that school with 2 daddies.
I
Like,
have said this
It's
on this
inclusive.
podcast before, and I will say it again. The teachers aren't teaching your kids. The administrators aren't teaching your kids. You're not even teaching your
it's
kids.
are-
The internet is teaching your children,
Mm.
okay? And there's gay shit everywhere on the internet. So just get used to it, all right?
Don't blame-
Stop clinging to a decade
Yeah,
past.
Let's touch on DeSantis. You say
Wait,
like,
are we switching? We're going to the
no, we're
next one?
touching on DeSantis
Okay.
on this because like he says that
Because the next one's a
he-
motherfucker.
he may or may not sign this bill. Like, I kind of want to lay a little blame his way.
There is no
He's been
way.
promoting it.
There's no way that he does not sign this bill.
Yeah, he's been promoting it.
Not only is he promoting it, it goes to the heart of his base. This is the same guy that when he was running for governor against a black opponent said, Florida, let's not monkey up this election. And still got elected.
And fucking won.
And still got elected, which tells you where his base is at. There is no way he's not voting for this. I mean, he literally
He's
looked
not
at a
voting,
pandemic
it's
and
signing
said,
it
fuck
into
you,
law.
I'll do what I want. in the state with the largest group of elderly people.
Well, I don't know
in
why
the
he
country.
said that. He might not sign it. Maybe because Disney came out and said that they're not. That's another angle.
It's
to the
bad
story.
for publicity.
Yeah.
For
Disney.
Disney.
It's great for him, but not for Disney.
For Disney, one of your largest corporations.
Mhm.
That may donate
That are-
to DeSantis'
Yeah.
campaign for that matter. you
Well,
know?
they did donate to his campaign already.
Yeah. So
A relatively small amount, but still, they did donate to his campaign. But they always donate to both campaigns.
yeah.
Major
Common
corporations
practice.
like major corporations like that will always donate to both sides and just wait to see who wins.
Well, I know that Disney's going to be profiting a lot in the future because abortion is going to soon be illegal. We're going to need more Disney films. Guys, who's to blame
For the abortion
for all the kids that weren't aborted?
that
For-
weren't aborted.
Well, you want to be a little more specific. Like the way you framed that was
okay.
horrific.
It was.
Like
Just- it
not
just meant,
enough
like,
kids
explain-
get aborted. That's the position Blamegirl is taking. That's the
That's
way you,
not
what
that's
I
the way
said
you
at all.
said it.
No,
I'll
that's
I'll
not
take
what I
that
said.
position. I
Okay.
take it. I own that position. that
Wait,
not
wait.
enough kids-
Before we hit the hottest blame, we got to hit the hottest wing.
You got the
But
southern.
you still have the one.
Mhm.
All right, shit.
This is the bomb.
That's the hottest.
All right.
I guess I'm gonna be really
Immediately,
too hot.
right up your tongue.
Oh my God.
Right up your tongue, and then it spreads.
Here, try it if you
No.
feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I personally, I'm
God.
worried that abortion
It's like
will
getting
be
maced.
completely illegal soon, guys. Basically, this week, Texas, they've exhausted all. I didn't have any of that, but I got some indigestion going these weeks.
It's hot.
We all have a rough time over here. I ain't even eating hot shit, and I'm just can't eat wings and Hennessy is sweating. We'll see, Terry too. Look, he got ice cream.
My God. Try that.
Try it.
Mhm.
Hold on, I'm still working this stuff.
Oh my God, I'm crying.
Guys, what is this hot sauce?
This is the bomb beyond insanity. This is by far the hottest hot sauce I've ever had in my life. Oh
Have
my
you never
God.
had it before?
It's hot.
So the next one, is it hotter or
I don't know how anything could be hotter than that.
it's supposed to be hotter?
I don't know how anything could be hotter than that. Oh my God. So what are we talking about, dead kids?
Hopefully.
No, we're talking about how abortion will soon be completely illegal. You got Texas that just exhausted all
Well, it wouldn't
possible appeals. You
Okay,
got, I think that also happened in another state. I can't remember the state off the top of my head. But then you got the federal case out of Mississippi soon that's gonna be decided by the Supreme Court. They could really make abortion illegal. I didn't think we could here.
I think it would. I don't know. if
Where
it'd
the
be
fuck is
illegal.
Austin at in Texas? Isn't that supposed to be the next swing
It's
state?
still a good old boy city.
I mean, this is what they were talking about with Ruth Bader Ginsburg and all that stuff. But I don't know if it'll be so much completely illegal because you're never gonna have states like California, New York, Massachusetts ever uphold or flip because most of what you can
Well,
do
if it-
federally is just not make it. The most you can do federally is make it so that states can't ban or whatever. Basically, because all Roe v. Wade did was make it so that you couldn't infringe on a medical procedure.
Yeah.
Specifically, abortion was the medical procedure, but it's the idea of, oh, well, now you can't tell states not to do it, but the states who already are gonna do it, you can't make them not do it.
But all it
You think
takes,
it'll come down to some sort of states' rights issue?
Yeah, that'll be one of those state by state things. You won't have states having issues with people.
all it has
crossing
to
the
come
borders.
down to is the wrong Supreme Court panel of over.
Well, it's already 6-3. What else more how much more could it be?
They're not brazen enough to vote for it though. That's the thing, because it's already come.
You don't
back.
think
You have to flip it. Not only make it legal to ban abortion, you'd have to then ban the banning of.
That's what they're working up to. They're working up to it. They've already done it with these judgments that have come down against these anti-abortion laws that are basically, they're not saying it's illegal, but they are saying that they can deputize their own people.
Yeah, but that's again, that's
They'll
the
allow
rub
it.
of like if you're in New York, you can't in Texas.
Mhm.
Like you don't have cause, and that's the thing about Texas law that falls apart is you can sue them in Texas, but that has nothing to do with whether or not you can sue them in New York for getting an abortion in New York.
No,
Because if New York never passes an abortion law,
the opposite is true. You can live in New York, but as long as somebody's in Texas, you can sue them if they have an abortion or help somebody help an abortion, whether it has to do directly with them or not. And that means somebody that
but
works
that's
at a
still the
clinic.
same issue. That's what I mean by
You
people,
know,
in
people-
those states will be fine.
People that have nothing to do with the whole situation are gonna be trying to sue people just. to
Well,
make
that's already happened. It's already happened with a couple people trying to sue, and the test cases where it ended up kind of falling apart. Nothing really
Thank
happened
God.
because of the fact of their, to take it to court is expensive, and that's why the states kind of put it on the people to do their own pursuits because they know if they try to take up all these lawsuits themselves, it would tie up their court system for decades.
It's still so fucking hot.
Yeah.
It's not going away. Look at you, you're sweating from your eyes.
Yeah, but I'm
What are you
African, so
talking
like
about? What do you mean you're African?
I'm back. That's the kind of African. We're in the African Union. What are you talking about?
Buffalo soldiers.
Mm.
We're in the African Union. I don't.
Wrong hemisphere, motherfucker. No, okay.
This is a lady
If
from
you
Texas.
African, I'm African too, because I'm from the South.
Listen,
Remember what I said
a
about
giraffe in the New
black
York Zoo
Europeans?
is still from Africa.
Remember what I said about black Europeans against Moroccans? Well, there you go.
Huh.
It's the same thing.
What do you mean?
He had
I
you
don't
being,
get that.
Never mind.
he had you making me not African.
Yeah. Yeah, you judging him. You judging him hard. This is black.
I am
black
in the
crime.
African
I'm watching
Union.
it. I'm
Like me personally,
can-
Hennessy Williams
I-
personally.
Yeah.
is in the
Tennessee, where
African
were you?
Union.
I honestly don't even
I was
give a
born
shit.
here in
So
America.
you're African American, just like me.
No, he's just
I'm
American.
Asian American.
Those
no,
are not mutually exclusive.
no, you're just both American. You are
He's trying
where
to
you
give us
were
the
born.
secret sauce. He's like,
No
don't let
one's-
these white people
No
convince
one's
you.
listening to this white
I'm just-
motherfucker trying to explain. Don't
It's
Like,
not
it
even
worked
about,
for
I'm
the
not even
Irish.
explaining race. I'm
It
literally
worked.
just
Black
explaining
slave
geography.
It worked for the Scottish that came
You
over,
don't-
the Italians. Don't tell them.
I know
Italian
geography.
American.
Bitch, I was a geography teacher.
Okay, well, guess what? I'm from Ireland, but I'm not Irish American. I'm just
Yeah, you are.
American.
You're-
No, I'm not.
It's North
It's
American.
stupid. It's a
North
stupid
American,
thing to
Well,
say.
that's because you don't identify
Irish
that way.
North American.
If that's the case, then we're all fucking African because the oldest human ever found was in Africa.
Oh.
So we're all fucking African. How about that?
Way to just
Unless you have a
go out.
family
Well, no,
crest.
it's just how far back do you want to go?
Unless you have a family crest, you're out.
Y'all
No,
see how this heat today food?
no, I'm saying how far
The
back
heat
do you
up.
want to go?
Look,
How far back does ancestry go?
The
but
age of the country.
guys,
that you
Let's
live
go all the way
let's
back.
go back to abortion. So who's to blame for this? Why are we about to not be able to get
Fucking Republicans, obviously.
fundamentalists.
It's always Republicans. They always talk about less government, yet they're the ones that always want more government to infringe on people. Just the right way.
No,
Less
That's not gonna work.
taxes,
All right.
less freedom. That's
It's
what
like
they
a
want.
KGB trick. Tell them what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
By blaming it on someone else.
Which is a very big part of the Republican Party's game plan is yes, if we're gonna do something, blame them first, and that way they can't call us out for it.
It's called muddying the waters.
Yes. They've got many a tricks. Whataboutism? That's another good one. Is you
Moving
ask
the
them a que-
goalposts.
Yeah, exactly. And they always talk about like, oh, no.
Terry's doing a number on this ice cream.
Oh, it's so good. It's so cold. Oh,
As he smokes it. I don't know how you taste anything. He's smoking cigarettes. eating
That's right.
hot ass wings
That's right.
and ice cream.
Yeah, that's right.
His mouth is a Jersey
Where's the vodka?
fucking.
Yeah, turnpike.
It's a New Jersey fairground.
What? What are you
Where's
doing?
the vodka?
Over there in the cabinet. What? Don't do. We're not charades. Why are you doing this while we're on air?
You
Not
guys
the
actually
other
filmed
one.
this live?
Yeah, this is on Facebook right now. Like I'm gonna do this edited.
I have a co-host. Why can't you?
I am. We're still
Look at
talking.
that, finishing the
I'm just telling you to hurry it up. And that's not because you're black. It is because you're a woman.
Are we
Do
dabbing
you
these?
think that,
Oh, yeah.
guys, do you think that instead of, going to a clinic to get an abortion, women can just try this hot sauce?
I think,
That's a great advertisement
yeah,
for the bomb hot sauce.
yeah.
Hot
The
sauce
bomb hot
is
sauce.
the baby.
To bomb hot sauce, you won't have to pay for college. There you go. All right, so I got my dab on here.
All right.
Ugh.
That it can't be
You
worse
can
than this
turn up
one.
the AC though.
It
right?
can be worse than this one. It really can.
Black folks ready to talk about somebody's AC. You ain't that happy.
I know. Oh, that's a lot. Oh,
Terry
goodness.
make that.
No, I just want to make sure I got enough. That's all it is.
That's all right.
I already ate all my wings.
And that's the last dab.
Triple X.
Well, it's the triple X. What do they call it?
You
Oh no, that's not the Apollo. I thought they gave me the Apollo. Never mind. Triple X. So this one's gonna get nasty. I feel like. What's
We don't have anything next. We're gonna talk to Hennessy about being a comedian.
all right? Well, let's dab it up then.
are you gonna do this with other people?
He's been trying
If
to.
anyone's brave enough, if anyone's brave enough, we got our one chip challenger here coming forward.
I'm a tough son of a bitch.
Respect.
It definitely tastes better than the bomb did.
It tastes better, or is it just more
Well,
tolerable?
the bomb has no flavor. It's just all like fucking
Oh, okay.
instant heat that climbs up your tongue, goes down your throat, and rips your balls out from the inside.
Well, I don't have balls. I probably would never handle it, huh? I'm just kidding.
Well, it'd be your ovaries instead.
Bovaries.
You guys doing all right?
Yeah. What do
This
you want to
one-
know?
This one's not. I mean, nothing could be as bad as the last one. I'm still hurting. from
I
that.
want to talk to you, Hennessy, because this is not your first go around on the Blamegirl Podcast. So we probably, I don't know, because the first time I remember having you,
We've touched on issues.
we were interrupted, so I don't know that I got to interview you, and then you co-hosted when I was out once.
Yeah.
So, but what's
Friend of the show.
definitely a friend of the show. What stood out to me, I remember having this conversation with you down at Villa Theater after a show, and you were saying that the work-life balance is important when it comes to comedy. And at some point, you might need to put comedy before your day job. I want to
Yeah.
explore those thoughts.
Cool. At some point, thank you, Finn. At some point, every comic dreams of the day they get to give a finger to their boss of their shit 9-to-5 job and say, fuck you, Hollywood just called and said they were greenlighting 2 seasons of my spec script. But the reality is that doesn't happen.
Nope.
What really does happen is you kind of middle around for a while and you start getting opportunities that conflict with your normal job, but they aren't big enough to make you quit your job. But they come more frequently that make you question, should you keep this job? Because it's not, some comic telling you that they want to take you on tour for 6 months. It's a comic saying, hey, you want to go on tour with me for 2 weeks? And really, the 2 weeks is like 8 shows. Is that enough to make you quit your job financially? Absolutely not.
That's
No way.
stupid as shit. Don't do that.
You can't
kids.
quit your job for 8 shows. But when they ask you to do that, and then they say, hey, let me know if you're available in 6 months time because I want to do it again. And then someone says, hey, I heard you did good. Can I borrow you for 2 months, or can I borrow you for a month? Or hey, can you come out to this city for a while and do some shows, run on some shows? I want to see how you look. Because sometimes what happens in some of these cities is like you'll get out there, you'll make a splash, and you're just on a visit, and they want you to do a bunch of shows. And a bunch like people will hit you up, like if you go to New York and they see you do well, they'll ask you to be on like 5 shows, but you're only there for 3 days, and you just found out, oh, I could do well here in this city if I stopped whatever it is that made me stay in Florida and just moved here.
I would take that. I would take that over some producer saying that they promise they're going to produce my script. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot. I mean, if you've done comedy for any amount of time in any market, you know that there's plenty of sharks in those waters, and they love to come out and promise you the world and blow smoke up your ass and all that. And it just ain't true. It just ain't. And I'd rather take a shot on myself. I'll be in New York next week performing, and there's going to be supposedly, as far as the booker's concerned, there are going to be people there that could make those kind of decisions. But I would rather have that chance and just rely on myself than take a chance on somebody else in this industry. But yeah, some people definitely take that shit way too far, especially minor victories. I knew a guy who got passed on to the semifinals of the Florida's Funniest competition.
And he quit his job.
And asked if he should be quitting his job to focus on comedy.
No.
What the fuck?
When do you,
and that guy's still doing comedy in South Florida
what is your advice? Like, do you think?
Honestly, you don't quit
that decision?
I don't think you quit your day job until you can't do stand-up and your day job.
Yeah.
Until it's very obvious that you can't do it at the level that is being offered to you, not the level you want to be at. That's a very, very, very important distinction. Appreciate it. Yeah, the actual level you have access to, not so much like.
I just asked because
what you aspire to be.
Like lately for me, you know, I have my own business. I'm a paralegal, and 2 people, my mom and one of my attorneys, is like, well, you just got to figure out if you want this and it. You know, I'm like, why is it like that? Why does it have to be like that? Like, my business is set up. I work from home. I can do it from home, you know, anywhere for a short period of time, right? And so it's actually pretty perfect for comedy. Why do I have to put one, you know? But I guess because I own my own business.
That's why.
You know what?
You own your own business.
Let's just make it clean cut. When you make 50 grand in 1 year doing stand-up, quit your job. If you can make that in 1 year.
What if you make more at your job though?
But the idea is you should be able to live off stand-up.
You can live off 50 grand a year. Anybody can.
That's
it's a single childless person. Yeah. Well, adjust.
No, you wouldn't need more because then
adjust for your estate. I know. I just got.
You wouldn't.
I'm single.
Are you Chris?
You wouldn't need more.
No, but legally.
You wouldn't need more because you got to remember, if you're making that kind of money doing stand-up, you're out all the time. You're on the road half the time. So you don't even need an apartment if you don't want one.
You need hotels.
You need somewhere to put an address. You need somewhere to send mail.
Oh, well, yeah. Everybody's got that. You got friends, parents, family, whatever. If I went on the road tomorrow.
Your mail.
My mail in Texas.
If I went on the road tomorrow, my mail will be going to my sister's house. And I'm sure you got somebody like that. I'm sure everybody does, even if it's just a best friend.
Going to Cedar Park, Texas.
But I mean, as far as I like the number. And I like the logic of using a number because that at least gives comics something to shoot for and something.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta have
nebulous.
You can't cross a finish line that doesn't exist.
Yeah, but I would say absolutely go on go on the internet and find out the cost of living for your city that you live in, and then try to earn that in stand-up. Even if what you live by is above or below find out what your city is, the cost of living there, and see if you can get
maybe live below your means.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're living in New York and making 50 grand a year, you might be scraping by.
You need some roommates.
That's what I mean by adjust for the city. Find out the cost of living and then do that. If it's LA and you need 110, if you can figure out how to make $110,000 in stand up,
can you believe that when I was 20 years old, the idea behind your basic household economy is that 25% of your income should go to either rent or mortgage. That's it. So one paycheck a month.
I thought it was a third.
No, it used to be a quarter. When I was coming up, it was a quarter. It was
I'm older
25%.
than you, so I
One-
don't know what he's talking about.
You're a year older than me.
I am 2 years older than you. It was a third.
And things were different 2 years before.
That's so
They
true.
were.
She
I was
is
born
so
in the
much.
70s. He was.
She is so much wiser.
She's from the decade
sounds
when
like
they
my
used
sister.
to when they
'Cause she-
used to match inflation. When
She's
we
my
used to
sister's
match
age.
inflation.
She's my sister's age,
If
which
only
is
I
like
was
18
working
months
years.
Yeah.
more than me. And she's like, let me tell you something, Junior. That's fucking ridiculous.
I'm just saying.
The
like,
point is, it was supposed to be 25%. You're supposed to take one paycheck a month and then pay your rent. Who the fuck could do that right now? I make great money and can't do that right now. You know?
It's the landlord's fault. That's who you blame.
No,
What?
Yeah.
no.
They're the ones who are ballooning their costs, even though they're
Thank you,
ballooning their
Hennessy.
prices, but their costs have not gone up.
This is what's
It
happening.
doesn't cost more.
Let me
to own
just
a
tell
property
y'all
you
a
already
little
own.
story about real estate down here.
2008. That's what did it.
Let me get in here.
Everybody lost.
Hello.
I'm answering his question. Everybody lost all their credit. They lost all their savings. They lost their pensions, 401ks. They lost their homes. And then the rental market got flooded after that. So then obviously demand was very high. So then people started people with means started buying up properties just to rent them out. Oh, Jesus. And then what happened was, it's not just necessarily the inflation by the demand, right? It's the fact that nobody else can buy a fucking house anymore because Wall Street fucked the entire country. That's why. Normal people cannot
So
buy
you-
a house these days.
Yeah, you balloon the costs to be picked up by either private equity or foreign investors because they don't care. So they'll make a cash purchase above market,
Right.
artificially raising the price because landlords are greedy and
I just
said,
want to get in here.
they're like rats, and said, where am I going to go? Of course, to the more money option.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the legal field, I do a lot of real estate litigation, and I did a response to a complaint to eject someone out of the property, right? And ejectment's where you just kick somebody out. It's not an eviction because you can't evict them. You can eject them, right? So these people, the people we represented, signed a contract in 2019 to purchase this property for $54,000. And there was some outstanding taxes on the property. So the seller went to litigation to figure out who has to pay the taxes. Figured out that you fast forward to 2020, into 2021, 2022, they don't want to sell to our clients anymore because you know why? The price of the property has gone from 54,000 to 500,000. That's how fucked up things are right
Yeah,
now.
there's no justifiable way you can
That's so
get
greedy.
from 50 to 500 in a few
Greedy as
years.
fuck.
Right. Well, I mean, mortgages have gone up, but they haven't gone up as high as rent has. So it is partially what you say. There is a lot of greed there.
We need some HUD on the whole, some HUD controls on the whole, like the whole system. Like,
Well, we
the
are.
government needs to control like rent increases and rent costs in areas.
Here's a fascinating fact that most people don't know when I tell them. Right now, South Florida is the third highest rent to income ratio in the country. That's higher than New York. That's higher than Washington.
Yeah.
That's higher than Philly. That's higher than any Eastern metropolitan area.
Yeah, we have big cities.
Not San
We have
Francisco.
New York prices with New
you're right.
Mexico earnings.
It's actually Seattle is the number one, and then
Seattle.
Seattle is the
I
number
would never
one
guess.
because again, you're talking about rent to income ratio. If it was just rent, it'd probably be New York City because everybody knows rents are high, but salaries are higher too. Then it's San Francisco. Then it's us.
Yeah.
That's fucking that's
South
incredible.
Florida is in high demand. You also got to think about it like
No,
this.
we're not.
Let me get in here. Fuck. You got to think about it like this. Population density. Because I was a geography teacher. I know about this shit. Just FYI.
Here we go.
There is a dense population here, as in New York, and that is also drives the price up because supply and demand. There's a higher demand for properties
We have way more
and
land.
not as much of a supply. No, you don't.
We have way more land than New York. Way more.
Maybe more than New York, but
We are
not
not
like
developed.
y'all ain't like
Not developed,
No, no.
but.
y'all ain't like Texas. You know, Texas has all of this land,
Well,
and
sure, but
and it does like kill me that we're just developing it.
that's like
nobody's
70.
Well,
It's like
some
75,
stuff
80% of
there's
the
an
country is
economy
all empty
in
land.
simply developing property, and that economy is being satisfied because they make their money through the investments of the actual land grants, blah, blah, breaking land and all that. So they don't care. They build these things, and then these things might get bought by foreign investors, might not, might be giant towers that are empty, which is very common in South Florida.
Mhm.
Giant empty towers. And then you combine that with the fact that renting is out of control. So you end up with empty apartments, empty condos, people building them over and over, just building a bunch of them just because there's money in building it. And
Well, look,
everyone
And then-
else in the middle is kind of homeless.
You got
But not
because real estate is one of the best assets to have for like building wealth.
that's what they used to think
Used to.
before 2008. But then
No,
they
they
found
still
out
say that. They
when
still
they,
say that.
well, I know, because again,
the
oh,
best
it's so
idea out of
safe
bad
again.
ideas
Yeah.
in the
it's-
system. This isn't that we currently.
That's
have,
why
it's the best
everybody,
idea.
and working in this industry currently, this is why I can tell you, 2020 was one of my biggest years ever. Because once the pandemic hit, everybody with influence at least, pulled their money out of the markets and they stuck them directly into real estate. Because it's the safest one, not the one for building the most amount of wealth, but it is the one that's safest.
It's a
I'll
parking
tell you
spot.
what.
And not everybody's renting them. This condo next to me has been empty for 2 years.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's people just
And it-
parking them.
And
Yeah,
it-
parking.
And it's, yeah, like I want to rent a place. The rents are going up so much. It's just like, you
Yeah,
know,
I mean,
I am renting a place. but
we're
I-
gonna see
I
the
would-
first generation of homeless, but working. We're gonna see a lot
That's
more
a big
working
thing they're
homeless,
talking
and I don't
about.
know if the US is actually built to fundamentally understand what it looks like when your society is homeless, but still has a job.
Yeah.
Because you're so used to homeless being completely bottomed out, that the idea that no, they still go to work with you, they might even go to dinner with you, they just can't afford rent, so they have these like elaborate
like you-
trailers and elaborate
you-
tiny homes. And
you
elaborate-
Well, we are
You
living in
see
the day.
teachers that are like homeless in certain
Mhm.
certain cities, and it's just like that shouldn't even be a thing.
But we
It
are
should not
living
be a
in the
thing.
same day and age that has created the side hustle, which is just a fancy way of saying second job. Now it's so common to
What's the
have a
need?
side hustle or a second job.
What's the need for them?
Oh, yeah, because they have to, because everything in our society has grown by double digits in their prices. But salaries, everything has.
All right.
Because everyone wants to be
We've
rich.
gotten a little too serious. I want to go back to comedy with Hennessy.
Are your lips still tingling and numb? Because mine are. No, mine are all the way around. I'm
Oh.
still hurting.
All right. So Hennessy, I see sketches on your
Okay.
social media. Tell me about that. What's up with your sketches? Do you think that I've been told, and I tell people, like, you have to diversify yourself as a comedian. You can't just do stand up.
You're not allowed to.
Is that why you're doing the sketches?
Yeah, because I'm not allowed to like bygone are the days of being some introverted notebook carrying
Yeah.
comic that doesn't work well with others and just gets to mics and does this. Like they're not gonna give you stage time. They're not like any significant stage time where it matters. You're not gonna get in it. It's because people want to be able to see your other skill set so that they can trust when you perform live, you'll be good. I don't know why. I don't know
But
why
that
it's
doesn't
necessary.
equate to performing
Of course.
live.
I disagree. I don't do any of that shit. And I'll see you at the comic strip next Wednesday night in New York City.
Look at this.
He's
nigga.
riding this old
This
guy,
nigga
man.
bragging.
But then, okay,
I'm just saying it can be done. It ain't the easiest path. It might take 10
as
years.
he says on his live show on Facebook that he does on a comment page. This is what I mean. We're not allowed to do nothing else but stand up.
You got me. Fuck, you got me. You fucking got me. I didn't even realize that. Yeah, I am.
Yeah,
fucking doing it.
we're diversified.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
It didn't even-
carrying.
And I do another podcast too.
The
That's
thing
not-
that's
didn't even
weird
hit
for me
me.
is like I was a podcaster / blogger before I was a comic, so I already had that going on.
Exactly.
So,
It's
like,
a
this is-
natural
This
transition.
ain't nothing
you.
for me to do I do a podcast, but I do sketches too. Like I do the little funny sketches, and I am jealous. I can't do TikToks. I can't figure it out. I don't know. Like
Maybe you do sketch.
You just copy other people on TikTok? Like, I don't know what
TikTok
it is.
rewards
Stupidity.
creativity with an unoriginal idea.
Like Earthquake just had this special come out on Netflix, and this nigga on here doing earthquake jokes, and I'm like,
Is
you
he
ain't
like,
Earthquake.
is he acting out Earthquake's like recorded audio?
Yes, he's like,
Yeah, that's a
oh,
common thing.
Yeah.
I hate that. Like, that's not.
You're just
fair.
lip
And then
syncing.
you're popular. Because
No, there's plenty of them. There's so many of them. I saw a chick on there that just does like blue collar comedy stuff, but she does the same thing. She's just lip syncing their audio.
no.
Yeah, and she's incredibly popular.
I gotta say, I appreciate the because it is an art. The video, like, I love Fat and Funny's videos. I love them. Like, he's stupid and it's not a lot into it, but it's very funny.
But at
You
least
know
it's
what I'm saying?
original, is what we're talking about. You know
I
what
love
mean?
doing those tribe of asshole videos
Mhm.
because it's not
But they're original.
short. Yeah, they're original.
Right.
It's all original.
So for you specifically, it's the copycat
Yeah.
thing of like using
Well, you're
someone
not
else's
doing
direct
anything.
material
Yeah.
to create
Yes.
something else.
Especially when it comes to comedy or music, even.
If you
People
went
go-
out and recorded an album singing Don't Stop Believing and became famous off of it, I think Journey might have something to say about it. You know what I mean? So why?
No, here's what's funny
why
and
is it
so
comics don't get to
sycophantic
do that?
about what's happening now. If I become big enough, Journey wants to do a TikTok with me. That's where we are.
No.
Like they go, oh,
I-
let's do this.
no, I'm
Journey
saying
can
that
make
that
more
only-
money
but
by
that-
linking up with the TikTok.
But that only works
What do
in
you
this
have?
medium, is what I'm saying. If I went out and recorded an album doing Journey songs and became famous for doing it, yeah, they would see me in court.
What does that say about
Because
like?
there's no way they would let me record their songs without their permission.
Well, it's specifically
doing-
selling the album.
Right, exactly.
If you just did it as
But
TikTok.
you're just getting followers.
But it doesn't matter. You're still getting paid. You're
No,
still
you're
monetizing
getting
off
paid
somebody
off
else.
of having a lot of followers,
They
but
don't
not
give
off of it. It's
You're
a
still
hat.
They don't give a
monetizing.
shit.
And by the way, just to throw this out there, all those TikToks and reels and all that shit where they say, oh, play this in reverse, play this in 0.3 speed, play this in 3 times speed, and all that to hear what it is. Stop fucking making me work. I just scan past
I've
all
never
that shit
seen
anyway.
that. I've never seen
Listen,
that.
you don't buy it with the Journey thing, but please understand, Will Smith made Fresh Prince of Bel-Air again because of some clip he saw of some kids doing it serious.
Yeah.
And that sprung forth from that was an entire series. So obviously, you don't need to be original. It just needs to be hype around what you did.
It's
Wow.
so depressing.
You
That
just
is
need
so-
to be hype.
No, and it's depressing how accurate that is, but I still will never agree with it. Independent thought, people. That's all you need.
That's
Just-
for old people.
I guess that's a dying art form.
So, but what do you do? Like when you do your sketches, they're not like knocking off anybody else's shit. Do you write those yourself?
Oh,
Like,
that's next. Do I write them myself? Yeah, I don't spend a lot of time writing because one of the things I learned from hanging around people who do a lot of sketches and are very popular with their sketches, don't do that. Don't waste your time trying to perfect something that needs to just
I got an idea
put
for a sketch I
together
want to do.
and put out.
You saying like just be like, I got the idea, just do it.
Yeah, get to work. The idea is work and get to work as fast as you can, make it real as fast as you can, because if you spend too much time trying to perfect something before you go into production,
Mhm.
you'll never produce it.
Yeah.
But does it even matter? Does it even matter these days? Because in the age of streaming, even if you're popular, you're here one day, you're gone the next. When's the last time
You don't get to control how long your 15 minutes are. You just
No,
wanna make
but
sure
I'm-
you're there.
I'm saying there will be no more legends anyway, because you can't continue like this. You can't
Excuse
continue
me,
at this.
I'm right here.
You
Like,
can't
no
continue
more
at this
legends?
breakneck.
So are you
speed.
saying like there will never be
Let's put it
like,
this way.
giant mega stars because there's too many people at
There's
the trough,
too much.
feeding at the trough.
The
at the same
trough
time?
is humongous. It's, you know what I mean? The trough itself is humongous.
The
How
Rock.
many? Huh?
I said The Rock.
Okay, but he was a movie star before all this shit went down. He is one of the last generations, because I'm telling you. Well, let's put it this
Okay.
way. When's the last time you heard anybody say the word Stranger Things? It feels like an eternity ago.
As soon as the new season comes out.
As soon as the
Thank you.
new
I was
season
like,
comes
it's
out.
just not-
But those kids are probably aged out already.
No, they're not.
Well, maybe not, but we'll see. I'm just saying that show was something that nobody could stop talking about when it came out. However, here we are 3 years later, and you're like, oh yeah, what the fuck happened?
You're like,
You know?
euphoria.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
They're
yeah.
on to the next thing. That's our lack of.
I don't disagree with that. I feel like that as a comedian often, like, I feel like I had this one time where I was booked a bunch, and then I haven't had that again. Like, I was like the hot girl of the moment, and then it just died. Anybody else feel like that?
No, I've always been. Crazy.
Hennessy's always good.
Um,
No, I think that, I mean, there's some truth in that. There is some novelty to any act, right? Anybody who shows up on the scene and is good, there's going to be a novelty to their act. So
Sure.
they'll try to get, people will try to work them
Is that
as much as
shade?
possible.
A
Is that shade?
novelty?
No, it's just using the best word I could think of.
no, I mean
Because
it's a perfect word. It's
Sounds shady.
you don't even have to be good. You just have to be something different, and then you'll make
Yeah.
the rounds and the circles.
It's not shade. I'm not calling you a novel act. It's the novelty of your newness.
Mhm.
They
I
haven't
guess.
heard you
Yeah.
before.
Okay.
And plus, all the male bookers want to fuck you.
That's never going.
That's never gonna stop.
That's
Never.
Never.
If you're a young-
ladies,
If you're a new
This was
female
not
comic,
that type of party.
if
I'm
you
just
are a
saying.
new female
Villain
comic,
theater.
you're gonna get
Ain't
booked
nobody wanna
like-
play.
you're gonna get booked like crazy by every male booker out there.
I'm just saying, like, villain. I was a novelty. Villain. They were booking me like. Then they stopped.
that could
you
be
know.
such a poorly received public message. If given the wrong audience, that idea, hey, female comics, listen, you're gonna want to wear a push-up bra when you hit these mics because these guys are booking.
It doesn't
And they're
matter.
paying.
It doesn't look.
Nah, they
It
ain't
doesn't
paying
matter
though.
if
They ain't. Don't listen to him.
you could
Well,
wear
they
a
might
halter
book you.
top and a mini skirt, or you could wear sweats from head to toe.
No, look.
It doesn't matter.
let
If you
me
got a
just-
vagina, these bookers will
No,
book
let
you.
me just say this.
No, yeah.
They thirsty out there. They
Mhm.
are, but there's also people that like will only book you if they think you're funny or you're their friend, or so you have this whole thing to navigate.
It's the friend one that's tough.
Ooh, yeah.
That
right?
friend one is tough because
Yeah.
think I'm funny. That's a good tape will do that.
Yeah.
But
You know you're funny, but you know you can't get on this show
Look.
because you ain't friends with.
yeah.
When it comes to getting booked at regular shows, not just your average bar shows and not quality shit, it's really, to me, it's always just come down to time and place. If you're out at Mike's a lot and people see you, then you're on their mind. You'll get booked more. If you're not, they would be off their mind and you won't. That's how it seems to me.
So I want to talk about Hennessy outside of comedy. Who are you as who is Hennessy?
I've lost a little bit of that myself, but I found it.
You're just a comedian then, or
No. Outside
I know
of
you're a good
stand-up,
boyfriend.
the best.
You can cook and so.
Yeah.
so-
Outside of
Good.
it, I am I'm kind of I can be gregarious, but I'm mostly an introvert. I like to stay home a lot of the times if I'm not doing stand-up, just because of the fact that when I'm out, I'm out. I'm out there causing a ruckus. So when I come home, I'm in one place. I tend to be a goofball. I take calls from my mom on a weekly basis because she won't stop. I've asked her not to.
Only a weekly Hennessy.
If she could, she'd call me every hour. If she could, she'd call me every time it rains to make sure I'm not outside driving.
I just love how he was
Right.
waiting to use the word gregarious.
I like that he
couldn't-
used that word.
He
I do
couldn't
like
wait. He couldn't
I
wait.
wrote it down in my
Why?
car before I got
But
it.
Yeah.
I like that the white man had to point out that you used. Did you see?
Yeah,
Why do you have to
the
start
loquacious
something out of nothing?
Negro.
Mhm, thank you.
I would say that to anybody.
Anyway, so go on.
But outside of those things, one of my main concerns at this point, I've kind of settled into who I am, which is a guy who's interested in cursory knowledge of sports. I like food is huge. Despite how I carry myself, I do exercise, and I'm into fucking weightlifting and that sort of stuff. And
Hey, I'll hear nothing about that. You accomplished a goal fitness-wise that many people will never accomplish in their lives. Like you lost another person.
oh yeah, no, that's definitely true.
Yeah.
I definitely did. I've run the whole gamut.
I didn't even know the other Hennessy. I
Hennessy,
never met him.
he can't even do the melted ice cream joke anymore.
No.
Yeah.
But the truth is, outside of those things, I've kind of settled in on who I am. I don't really go to concerts. I think I should, but it's just not been my thing.
What was
I don't know why I brought that up.
what was the total number, by the way, just so everybody knows?
Total number of
The
what?
highest amount of weight loss is 128 pounds.
128. That's another person, people.
So concerts, you don't go to the concerts? Why do you say that?
I just realized because I was going through my brain, I'm like, what do you like to do? Because when I went through the list of cliched answers humans give, and one of them was go to concerts, and I was like, you don't like that? You should say that.
Yeah. Well, that is kind of like that.
I'm like,
I understand that personality perfectly. Where I'm like, what would a human say? Right? Oh yeah, that's
what can
right.
I say
I
to
mean,
make them think I'm
yeah, exactly. That's
Okay.
very
Because what people don't want to hear is that you sit in a chair in the dark waiting for the next set.
yeah.
No one wants to hear you're just waiting until
Yeah.
the next
No,
time
no
you're
one wants
unleashed.
to hear that until you get big, you know, like
Yeah,
that's the thing
then-
about
Well, then they'll
With-
mythologize it
with
and say
like,
that's the key to my success.
with like Kanye. This nigga was crazy and obsessed at first, but
I mean, was
okay, not just Kanye, but any athlete you take. That's
Oh, yeah,
what
yeah,
it
yeah.
fucking takes, right?
Yeah, a
So-
sort of obsession. There's no such thing as a great who wasn't obsessed with whatever it is, because at some point that's the differentiating quality
That's
between
why-
great and good.
I don't
just
I don't
stop
give
before
myself
you
a-
chop your ear off.
I don't
That's
give
all you have
myself
to
a
do.
hard time for like tonight, like fuck, I got the podcast. I usually would go to a mic after or like on the Tuesday. I really want to get on a fucking mic, but I'm gonna go support the scene. I'm gonna go to this tonight in Delray by 9. They are showing The Resurrection, Jim Patterson's movie. I started comedy with Jim Patterson. My girl Joanna's in it. The South Florida comedy scene is deep. So I'm gonna go to that. Bitch, I want to be on a mic. I want to be
It's very
telling
normal.
jokes, and
Yeah.
it's obsessive.
I'm not going anywhere but to the toilet.
Yes.
I pretty much want to
Nice.
perform anytime I see someone performing.
Yeah.
Most of the time. If I don't see anyone performing, I'm good. I think I'm good. And most of the time, like if I'm alone, I talk out loud to myself. I respond. I get deep into psychosis. Like
You don't do the
Well-
do your material on just people that are
Maybe
like
I don't run
everywhere.
bits on people.
No,
I don't know if it's a certain amount of time you have to do this or if it's just me, but it seemed like a lot of people before me got to this place too, which is where you just do it for long enough that it becomes almost second nature. And then not to that, and not to say anything against that, against miking and things like that, but then you just get to the point where you've done all that for so many years. You've gone out and mic'd 4 nights a week for so many years that it's just like, I'm not going out for any more shit stuff, like any more shit mics, or if I'm there, sure. But like, I'm not gonna drive 40 minutes to get on
Or is that
to get on an
or wait,
to get 5 minutes on an open mic that's in front of 10 other
or is that
comics.
the
Like,
drive that it does take?
Maybe
That's what like I can't
you
figure out.
know what? Maybe you're right, but there has to come a time.
And I'd rather do a show. That's
Yeah.
my
I'd
thinking.
rather do a show.
Well,
yeah.
obviously everybody
But let me
would,
tell
but I'm
you, I
saying
haven't been
like,
on a mic since Friday night, and it's
Uh-huh.
fucking making me crazy. But I have these other obligations. I'm not gonna get on a mic tonight unless I fucking go to like Pat and Funny's mic in Broward. That's like late as fuck. You know, I
Are
live
you
up
still
here.
Oak something, right?
Yeah. something
so
like
in
that.
your opinion, it just never stops, no matter what level you get
I
to,
don't know.
it's-
I am so new, but I know
Well, I'm
how
giving-
I know how I feel, and I hate when I'm not on mics. I've written all these new jokes. I got a new Kanye joke. I want to fucking try it out.
For me,
No.
it hit around year 6, year 7.
Yeah,
And then I was like, I'm not driving to Miami to do 5 minutes.
Miami.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything.
Well, I'm just saying
But-
that's the extent.
I'll go
that
do
it-
a show in Miami.
That's the extent that
Yeah,
it
book
used
me
to
for
be.
that.
But now in these days, I'm like, no, when I'm booked on a show and I feel like there's actually gonna be people there to listen. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like now it's just more in this stage, at least of my comedy, it's more quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Because I really feel like you get to a certain point where you just kind of know what's gonna work and what's not gonna work. Sometimes you get surprised, but
Yeah.
for the most part, your judgment gets better. So you don't have to practice as much. You know what I mean? You don't have to mic out.
I think
as
my
much.
practice is different. I don't think it's so much of not as much practice. I mean,
I don't necessarily see you at open mics very often.
no, because if I'm not doing a show, then now my focus then became a sort of shift because I knew the energy had to go somewhere because you can't not do anything. So I started as fucking pretentious as it sounds to try to think stand up, try to think bits, think fucking comedy, and think how bits could work for my next upcoming show. Work on getting myself booked and talking to bookers, talking to people, making networking, like use the energy for something else. If you're not gonna be at a mic, you should be calling people,
Sell
setting
yourself.
up.
And you're probably
For a
doing a
future
lot
show.
more good for your fucking comedy career doing that than you are going out to, yet
Yeah.
another just comics.
There's
open mic.
certainly a sort of delusion, sort of diminishing returns of hitting, like grinding on hell mics every night, because I'm a firm believer that like if you do too many hell spots in a row, your sense of humor gets warped and you can't talk to regular people anymore. And now you'll be like a little bit worse at stand up.
It hurts you more than it helps
Yeah,
you.
being able to do like a regular show.
But you go through the
through
the phase where you go and you do go through the hell mics. Like I know when I started, I found out about mics.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm like at mics every night. and
whatever,
like,
yeah,
whatever.
we don't know.
But now I'm like, I'll just go to mics when they're near me. Like I'm not gonna be going all over town.
But I mean,
Find these hell
I
mics.
mics are there for a reason. They're there to help you hone your skills.
Yeah.
But is there a time, in your opinion, where you ever think you'll just get to the point where you just have those skills now? That's my
I think we're just influenced by New York and LA so much because they're
guess.
on top of each other and they kowtow to the idea of going to mics 5-6 times a day,
It's not-
Yeah.
4 or 5 days
It's
a
just
week, but they're all next to each other, on top of each other, whatever.
Yeah.
But
like
it
a block
depends on
away.
too how much you write. Like I am writing constantly. I have all these new jokes to try from Friday to now. Like I need to get out there and try them and try to work them into my set. So I think that's what more drives me than anything. I want to be like, is this funny? Like then doing. I know what's funny. I know what parts of my sets are funny. I know what to do at a show, but I am still writing new shit. I want to get a clean set. I want to, keep developing myself. And the way to do that, in my opinion, is to keep developing new material, trying it, perfecting it, working.
When do you
in.
use it?
When do I use what?
Your new material that you're trying.
Once
to
I
work
know
on?
that I can get a solid laugh out of it, I'll try it at a show. And then if it's a good one, I don't know when I know.
I only ask you that because I want to know to what end do you do the writing? All this writing and all these new ideas.
I almost like never stop, I'll keep trying to make it funny
But do you
if I find the humor.
put together like do you find yourself ever building long sets with all the jokes and then you're going to use them for a specific purpose at some point?
You mean long joke? No, like I worked them into my previous set, like like
He's talking long format sets, so 5 minutes on one subject.
yeah, but maybe it's a new joke on a subject that I already have.
Okay.
Is my point, and I can work it into that.
All right. Well, I was asking just because like there's that evolution from 5 minutes that you get at all these mics to some point you got to perform for a half hour, and some point you got to perform for an hour.
Well, here's
Yeah.
what nobody ever talks about. When you start getting those, because I started getting 30-minute sets over and over and over again, and I probably had 6 or 7 of them in a row.
Mhm.
But when I tried to go back to doing 5 minutes at an open mic, I fucking died because I'm doing piecemeal material, just trying to pick out the best 5 minutes I can. And it goes by so quickly and you're not used to it. Like there's a real snapback from getting those opportunities and then going, trying to get back to 5 minutes. That's what I've been doing out at mics in these shows lately, is getting ready because now I got to do 5 minutes next week, in front of folks. And I'm like, oh shit. Like,
Yeah, you got to do like a TV set.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. But taking it back from 30 minutes to 5 is almost as hard as trying to get from 5 to 30. You know what I mean? To try and pick out your best 5 that flows correctly, and has that right energy and still finishes strong. Like that's been really difficult in the last few weeks for me. So
Yeah.
beware of what you wish for.
Do you prepare your writing for that? Like the long form stuff, the 20.
It just depends on what sets I get booked for. My jam is like 10 to 12 but I can do 20 for sure, 25.
So you
Yeah.
use it to the extent of it like you practice for when it's needed, but not for to have it.
No, I practice for when it's needed, and I like rotate my material constantly when I do shows. And if like I have written a new joke and I know that it's a solid new joke, it gets laughs every time I've tried it at open mics.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do it at a show and with confidence, and it works, you know. And then I figure out where in my set, because I'm already a writer. Like I'm in the legal field. I was a blogger, so writing is my thing. I'm always writing shit, and then just sitting, thinking, writing shit constantly. All right, I gotta get my charger plugged in it.
Actually, we're about
so,
done because
yeah, we
we're
are
at
close.
an hour and 20 minutes already.
We are close.
So
Okay. So let's just play the blame game with Hennessy real quick, and then
Sure.
we'll let him promote, and then we'll do words for white.
no words for white people this week. This was a special. So
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
that's right.
So
This-
Hennessy,
and
are
we're
you
already
ready?
overtime.
Are you ready to play the blame game?
Sure.
No,
All right.
you're not.
I feel like Haitian comics are dominating the scene lately. Who's to blame? Are Haitian comics funnier?
Are they
The
dominating?
fuck? Yeah, no, they are. You
Did
got.
you see all those Haitian specials on Netflix? I know I have.
She means locally.
Oh, just locally.
I want to punch him so much. Yes, I mean locally, motherfucker.
Just local. Sorry.
I wasn't even talking to you.
We're still in South Florida.
Yeah.
So
We're not allowed on planes.
I noticed like there's
Not
a
to
lot,
Texas.
there's a lot of very funny Haitian men. Like, what's the deal? Like,
Upbringing.
yeah,
Yeah. Who raised us?
I think a lot of them.
I would
talk about
say
that.
it's the same.
No one, you're not Haitian man. I'm talking to Hennessy. Stop.
Okay.
Don't say anything.
Tell
Go
me if
ahead,
I'm
Hennessy.
wrong.
No, don't tell him if you don't say shit. Bite your tongue for
I'm gonna
once.
say it.
Bite your tongue, white man.
say it.
Why
Don't
you
say-
gotta,
you
why
ain't
you
gotta
gotta
say
be the
white
white
man.
man? Why you gotta be
Because
the
you
white
told
man?
me not to push the button. I have a problem with authorities, so now I gotta push the button.
Yeah, just control yourself. Go ahead,
All right.
Hennessy.
All right. It's largely because of the upbringing. So there's a lot of people with shared experiences and a willingness to storytell and all that. Because there's storytelling in every culture, whatever. But Haitians like to do it their way. And
It seems like Haitian parents are fucking strict. That's all I'm.
they're very strict, but
Oh, don't
it's
put your
all
fucking hand in my
everybody.
face.
Everybody's parents are kind of strict, but Haitian parents are strict because of the nature of the environment that they're trying to raise children in. Oftentimes, like where they're coming from and what they're trying to protect their children from requires a certain extra level of concern and attention to detail as a parent.
Well, the ones, at least the ones that I've seen, and you tell me if I'm wrong. You just asked him a question, you fucking asshole. Look, the differences that I have seen is between the Haitians that I've known in my life, the ones that have always gone into comedy are the ones that came from those overbearing Haitian households. Because I've known two different sides, right? I've known the lazy fucks that couldn't give a shit, and then I've known the other ones that you see in church every Wednesday and every Sunday, and they're very strict and they run their house with an iron fist. That's the same thing with these preachers' kids that I know.
Pregnant, all of them.
No, not even pregnant, just the amount of comedians and drug addicts and sure, teenage pregnancies that have come out of Christians' households. Isn't that kind of the same thing? Like the way that you put so much pressure on a kid while they're growing up, they just want to explode when they get out.
Yeah, shout out to West Point Academy.
Fucking knew it.
Yeah,
Because that's what it is. You
yeah,
can't
it's
pressure
how we
a
were
kid.
raised.
Call back.
Yeah. We are, like I said, it's parents that are raising children in, that come from a place of dire straits, and very, very small percentages of them are coming well off.
Right.
So you couple that with the fucking whatever the natural issues of America, and you end up with a kid who's fighting for his life, trying to make his parents smile, and like, I don't have time to smile. So it just makes you
Damn.
work fucking harder to try to get your parents
Jesus.
to smile.
Is that how you felt growing up? It's like, don't have
I
time
did
to
that.
smile?
It was my job. I
Okay.
thought as a kid it was my job to basically bring levity to the situation, because it was always a lot of animosity either between my parents or my siblings and my parents and all that stuff. So I was the youngest, so it's easiest as the youngest to be the clown.
right. You get away with a lot more. That's why.
My father was too tired to discipline me the way he did my
Of
older
course.
brother. So
Well, not even
I
that.
ran roughshod over him for like the last 10 years of my development.
I wouldn't even blame him for that. I think it's most parents that they're stricter on their first kids than they are with their last kids, just because they kind of realize they learn over time, like, oh, I don't have to do this. I don't have to be this strict. I can loosen up, like.
A lot of times you learn you can't do anything.
Yeah.
From the first kid, you're like, they rebelled. I'm not gonna deal with a nose piercing.
Which is why I don't have any of them. That's the best way to go.
That and no one will let them do it.
Oh no,
No, they want me to come in them. Want me to come in.
I've had off.
Okay, guys. So does anyone have anything to promote?
Yeah, my show with Phil Eastmay, live from the crib. We are going to be doing something special in the very near future. It's very exciting. But
Is it
for
a hot
now,
wings challenge?
yeah, we're only going to eat hot wings when we do our recordings. But for now, I can say, keep watching us. We do our shows every week live on Instagram.
Where can we see you on
Day and
social
time.
media?
Social media, Hennessy Wills, or you can follow my food channel, Eat with Henny.
Oh,
Yeah, HENNESSYWILL.
I'm learning along with everybody right now.
And you eat with Henny if you want to see the food focused stuff.
Or you just want to be jealous, okay?
And when
right.
is your show on Instagram?
Oh, it varies between Wednesdays and Thursdays, but we do it every week.
Okay, guys, this battery's about to go. Terry, you got anything coming up? New York, where you gonna be at?
Yeah, the comic strip live, 23rd next Wednesday, and then stand up New York next Thursday.
All right, and we are off next week.
Yep.
And the week after the end of March, I'm at Red Light, West Palm. Y'all know where it's at. RIP Bobby Mack. All right. Until next week, guys. Thank you.
They're going to the bathroom.
They're off. They're off next week. If you don't